Okay, it seems that it's time to start our discussion. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Navin. Unfortunately, we don't have an opportunity to see faces of our participants, which is a sad reality of being online, but I still hope that there are something positive things about this. And I hope that it helps us to be truly global. And I hope that we have a lot of participants from different parts and different places. So very welcome to everyone. And this is great this is great that you've managed to find time to join us for today's discussion. And I also want to greet and to welcome our special guest, Dr. Navin Ahuja, who is Senior Research Associate at the City University of Hong Kong and editorial board member of International Arbitration Law Review Journal. Navin also an accredited tribunal secretary and mediator at Hong Kong International Arbitration Center. So Navin, very welcome. Thank you very much that you've managed to find time to join us. And I hope that our discussion and our presentation of the Alumni Association will be fruitful for those who join us for this discussion today. You're very welcome. And I also know, Navin, that you have a long history of relationships with Moot because you participated yourself and you were coaching the team of City University of Hong Kong for several years. And this is great because I think this is something which is really unifying among those who passed through the Moot, because I also participated myself in 2010 and then was coaching the team of High School of Economics for more than 10 years. And that's, I think, a great example of how it works. I mean, the Moot works because it's definitely not something which you just can pass through and forget. This is something which keeps you attracted, keeps you involved for very long time of your professional life. And this is really the subject of our discussion today, because we will speak about importance of community and networking and mooting in general, I would say, for the career building and for participants, for law students who are seeking to build up a successful career in the field of international law and international arbitration. And we will speak about specific projects which students can join if they are really willing to stay in touch. So that's something which should be like the framework for our today's discussion. And I'm very happy to be able to speak about this, because personally, I truly believe that the importance of community and the importance of being surrounded by people who share your values, your professional ideas, is something which cannot be overestimated and something which should not be underestimated. And when I was thinking about this presentation, I decided that it should not deviate from the old Moot tradition. And I will support my statement about importance of the community building by 3 submissions. So first reason why I think the participation in moot courts and Moot specifically, and being engaged in the community, in the professional community, is important. The first reason for this is the overall perception that our profession, legal profession, is considered to be super localized. When you think about someone like engineer or software developer, you normally consider that they are people who are qualified to practice across the globe, and they don't meet any significant difficulties, the transition difficulties, if they decide to move from one jurisdiction, from location to another. But when you think about legal profession and lawyer, you always think about the lawyer who is qualified to practice law in a specific country, in a specific location. And in that sense, our profession is strongly attached to the territory. And it is considered, although I can say it from my personal experience, it is often considered as being a bit disappointing factor, because we all want to be like in a more global community and be able to interact on a global level. And it is considered as a border, which is difficult to overcome. And very often it runs like a red line through our students' life and our professional life. But there is at least one exception from this rule, and this exception is related to the moment when you decide to participate in global Moot, like this Moot is. Because I think this is absolutely unforgettable feeling when you enter the meeting room in Vienna or in Hong Kong, or the pleading room, and you see thousands of lawyers from literally every corner of the world with absolutely different backgrounds. And you understand that irrespective of being so different, we still discuss the same legal things, the same legal issues and difficulties, and we all need the same professional skills to succeed. And this is, I think, absolutely magic feeling, which helps you not just look outside the box and to take this as an educational exercise, but to master a new field of law in your profession. So you understand that your profession is much broader, is much bigger than you could think before. And this like feeling of happiness that you can combine being a lawyer with the possibility to be on the global perspective is something which really can be obtained and can be benefited from the participation in this Moot and continuous of being engaged in the global community of lawyers who pass through this way together with you. So this is the first reason why I think this is absolutely great experience and very important experience if you want to be like bigger than you are in your profession. The second reason why I also consider this aspect is very important for the career building is about community itself. Because I think this is also something which cannot be disputed, that it is important to be surrounded by the like-minded people. And this Moot is definitely the place where you can meet people not just for your student life, but who will constitute your future professional community. And again, I can speak from my personal experience that literally on each step of my career, I had a chance to meet and to work with and to discuss different stuff with, to talk to people who were brought into my life thanks to this Moot. And the law firm we I recently practiced is also a good example for the statement, because all our partners some time ago met thanks to this Moot. So this is not just something which is taken from the imagination, but this is something which really works. And this is also great because you cannot, it is just literally impossible not to win in this Moot, because you always win by benefiting from this amazing community of people who share your values, who share your concerns, who thinks in a way in which you also get used and get prepared to think while you're, as a student, getting prepared for the participation. So that is the second reason about community itself, which is absolutely great. And the third thing, which is also, I think should be highlighted in this context, is about getting access to very inspirational role models. Because I think it's also not a secret that when we make our choice on some career paths, when we decide to be a lawyer or to practice some specific area of law, we often get inspiration from great professors or practicing professionals who really set the standard very, very high. And for me, also, this Moot was exactly the venue where I had a chance to meet absolutely amazing people from different parts of the world with great professional careers, who had deep understanding of law, who had really like broad view over the legal issues. And what is even more important, they were people who were ready to share their experience with young generation of lawyers, which is also something which cannot be overestimated. This is something which can bring a lot into your life. And I think after meeting such people, you cannot literally be a bad lawyer. You cannot allow yourself to write a poor document or not to be prepared for a meeting. And what is even more important, you understand what it actually means to be prepared and to be good in drafting and to obtain the hard skills, which will predetermine probably your overall understanding of your profession and of your life. So this is the third reason why I think the community building and participation in associations like Moot Alumni Association and participation in mooting like this Moot court are really, really important for our profession. And I should stop here. And Naveen, I will be happy to give the floor to you, because it also would be great if you could share your insights and your ideas about the importance of this, because I know that you spend a lot of time in supporting the Moot Alumni Association and teams who participate in this Moot. So what are your reasons to participate in this, and why do you think it is important for you and for the students to be involved in this activity?
Well, first of all, I wish to thank the Russian Institute of Modern Arbitration for having me here. And of course, thank you, Elena, for moderating the session. With regard to my bio, I would like to add that I'm also a full-time stay-at-home dad. I actually have twins who are 5.5 years old. And this injury here is a result of me trying out one of their capoeira classes a few days ago. It's a Brazilian martial art. Now, it's interesting to hear that you also were a Vismuti yourself. Indeed, I was Muti myself in 2013 to 14. And since then, I've been coaching, I've been judging, I've drafted moot problems, arbitration moot problems, even bench briefs. And I've been unable to let go. The thing is, the amount of time you spend on the moot problem itself, and it's so fascinating to see. Sorry, I'm not using my submissions, by the way. I'm just trying freestyle. The thing about the moot problem itself is that it's just a 60-page document. And then when you see the number of teams from all over the world, and just one sentence can be interpreted in so many different ways, each word, each punctuation, it's just amazing. And the people you meet, you know, your moot team, your team members, you have these ups and downs like a roller coaster, where you feel like, you know, you can work really well as a team, and then you say, you know what, I cannot see you again. We have very different views. You debated, you fight it out, you know, which argument is the strongest, which argument should we go with first and second and third. Till today, I'm still very much in touch with my Moot team. And that was in relation to unilateral litigation option clause, for example, on the procedural law and on the merits. This was also on the application of the CISG like this year. Now, one thing though is about the Moot itself, or rather the community building. The thing is, there are lots of opportunities in meeting people and practitioners, as you say. So there are lots of benefits, but sometimes it's also about utilizing those benefits. For example, sometimes when you meet someone, sometimes you don't actually realize what you can do to maintain or make use of those contacts. For example, an obvious point is, of course, you should always dress smart. But for example, some people can actually use their strengths to their advantage. Like if you have a good sense of humor, and I don't mean that if you think you're funny, but rather if you have the ability to make other people laugh, you could try doing that when you network, when you meet with practitioners or fellow colleagues, bearing in mind, of course, the cultural differences and sensitivities. I don't have a good sense of humor myself, or at least my wife and kids tell me that. So I don't have any example to share with you. But things like, you know, carrying name cards, creating a professional social media account, like on LinkedIn, updating your profile, because generally you should be planning ahead. You know, the first impression, it only takes 2 seconds. So you always want to plan how you want to introduce yourself and what it is you do. Also remembering that when you're discussing, you should also realize that people like to talk about themselves. So you should be also interested in asking questions about other people rather than just talking about yourself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with regard to the Vismoot in particular, you know, at the end of the annual Vismoot, generally, almost every year, the main question you always ask yourself is, how did it end so quickly? As a student participating, you cannot believe that there are no more sessions to plead. As a coach, Viz East was already over a few days ago, and I'm still asking myself, was that the end? Is that the end of Viz East round? And do we just move on to Viz Vienna? Like it's hard. As an arbitrator, you miss meeting fellow arbitrators and practitioners and judging the moot sessions. And that's why I joined the MAA. I'm happy to start talking about the MAA if there's something else you'd like to discuss, Elena.
Yeah, this is great. I just see that we have one question from the participants, which I think is really something which is close to what we just discussed about how to pursue the career in international arbitration. And I think this is exactly the issues and the ideas which you highlighted just right now, that you cannot build up a successful career without being within the community, really. And Vismoot, in that sense, gives you a lot of practical tips on how to do this. Because first, it shows you the possibility of like very diverse cultural environment, and probably you should think what you can contribute into the overall community and the overall like arbitration sphere. And you also rightfully mentioned, and I fully agree here, that you understand how to talk to different people, how to be within this community, how to ask questions, how to consider the issues which are important for other people. And these are something which really very important if you want to build up a successful career in arbitration as a field of global profession. So if you have any additional advices, maybe how to pursue the career, and maybe this will bring us to your presentation about Mon Alumni Association, because as I understand, they do a lot in terms of promoting different positions and like practical projects, which also can help in the career building. That also would be great to proceed with.
Indeed, the MAA has a lot to offer, but just generally, you have to take into account what you've learned throughout your preparation for the moot. As you've said, rightfully, you know, you're careful, like you have to be careful with your words. Each and every word you say, there must be a reason for that. Just like an introduction in the moot round, someone says something that's incorrect or inappropriate, you already asked questions by the arbitrators. So you've learned that how to foresee what kind of questions may be asked in an interview, for example. I've always told the students that when you work this hard, this automatically puts you in a position where if you're ever invited for an interview for a job, you should almost always pass. The reason being, you have learned so much with regard to accuracy, preparation, foreseeing questions, what kind of answers should be given, why should they be given, and be prepared to have follow-up answers on follow-up questions based on your first answers or second answers. And don't just rely on one reason, but have multiple reasons. So the fact that they've invited you already shows that there is some potential interest, and there's no reason to fail that. Now going to the MAA in particular, it's a perfect platform. Well, I'll tell you, it's an NGO which was founded in 1996. Now I'll just try to see if I can work on this screen. Yes. So it's this NGO which was founded in 1996 by some mooties who wanted to stay in touch after the Vismoot in Vienna. The MAA is, I would say, a perfect platform, not just for the mooties, coaches, arbitrators, scholars, arbitration scholars, and everyone else who have participated in or have been involved in the Vismoot, but also anyone interested in arbitration generally, or the CISG and or international law. We have at present over 3,000 official members, and the number is only increasing. Now, what is it that we actually do? We have events taking place this entire week. In fact, one tonight. We had a session on the impact of joinder in international arbitration yesterday. Today's session, or tonight's session rather, according to Singapore time zone, Hong Kong time zone, is on virtual hearings in the age of COVID. On Thursday, tomorrow, will be a fireside chat followed by a discussion on interpreting goods and services under the CISG. And on Friday will be a panel discussion on third-party claims under the CISG. Now, with the support by UNCITRAL, the MAA has been granted roster consultative status with the UN Economic and Social Council, and is regularly invited to attend sessions of UNCITRAL working groups in New York and Vienna. The MAA is therefore allowed to send a team to these UNCITRAL working group sessions to act as observers on behalf of the MAA. For example, the MAA was invited to attend as an observer at the 61st session of the UNCITRAL Working Group 4 on electronic commerce early this month. We were invited early this month for the session which will be held from 6th to 9th April at the Vienna International Center and remotely via an online platform. The MAA regularly posts arbitration-related job vacancies from all over the world on LinkedIn. As you can see, we're very active there. We also have the Vindobona Journal of International Commercial Law and Arbitration, which is a biannual scholarly law journal run and edited by practitioners and students from all around the world. If you can even check through your own university as to the ranking. 2 years ago, I had checked with City University, and I believe it was an A- journal ranked. It's published by the Moot Alumni Association and is available to subscribing customers globally. It's also backed by a distinguished board of advisors comprised of internationally eminent academics and practitioners. The journal covers contemporary scholarship in international commercial arbitration and law. It keeps readers abreast of new developments by providing legal opinions and commentary by industry specialists worldwide. The MAA also has a mentor-mentee program. The MAA mentorship program offers law students and young professionals an opportunity to receive guidance and support from an experienced legal professional as they begin to develop their careers. Of course, for that, all participants must be members of the MAA. Now, the question is, who is the backbone of the MAA? The MAA Executive Board consists of Sherlyn Tung, the president of MAA, Isabella Deveza and Sabine Newhouse, both are vice presidents of MAA, and Wendy Gonzalez, secretary of MAA. The Executive Board has taken MAA to a whole new level. And in addition to the Executive Board, we have, as I said, the Vindobona Journal team, International Liaisons team, media team, mentor-mentee team, conferences team, compliance team, China project team, diversity team, and finally the regional representatives team. And the teams are all working hard to bring you more ways to stay involved with the international trade law and arbitration. As you can see, this is the future of the MAA plan the teams have. Now, while you're already a part of the Moot family, we encourage everyone to sign up for official MAA membership in order to maintain new and old friendships, keep up with professional colleagues, and receive new opportunities. Most importantly, we hope that everyone will become an official part of the MAA in order to give back to the Vismoots. I hope that has answered the question and has provided some information of the MAA.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is very interesting. And do you have any specific requirements? I think that may be interesting for students who are attending our session today. Do you have any requirements to students who are willing to become members of the association? And what are your expectations, maybe generally, from those who join you?
Well, there are no actual requirements. If you're a student and you're interested in learning as to what developments are taking place, what internships are available, what conferences will take place, the opportunity of going and witnessing, sitting as an observer in one of the UNCITRAL working groups. This is a place. This is a place for you. And accordingly, you will not only have these opportunities, but you'll also get to meet practitioners who are part of the MAA organization. These are all arbitration practitioners. And doing an impressive job, you know, showing that you've got the hunger will automatically result in some kind of progression by way of internships and so on.
Yeah, and do you have any plans, you know, on developing and somehow benefiting from this post-COVID online reality? Maybe some programs and some like more focus on different regions to get involved in the activity of the association. Do you have any ideas on how it may be used for the benefit of both association and students who are willing to get involved?
At the moment, all of our conferences involve practitioners and academics from all over the world. So last week, we had people from different parts of Europe, Asia, North America, South America. Similar this week, we're doing the same. So this, on the contrary, has made it easier to have people connected more easily. It's just become easier, surprisingly. The question is, can we maintain that connection, or do we have to find ways once we go back to physical in-person meetings? Hopefully, at some stage that will happen. But either way, it's worked out for the best with regard to the community building and connections, I feel.
And do you see that there is some growth in terms of number of participants and those who are willing to join the association due to those, you know, online benefits of the post-pandemic world?
Most certainly. You know, normally if you have to attend a meeting in person, you have to get ready, you have to leave the hotel or your apartment and so on, you have to commute. And if it's bad weather, and you know, you take all these things into account. And if you have work as well, you ask yourself whether you have the energy to do this. But over here, all you do is simply wear a jacket, shirt, and you just sign in and you're there.
Yeah, that's true.
As
I
simple
also
as
think,
that.
yeah, this is amazing that on one side we get, you know, more separated in terms of not being able to meet physically, but from the other side, this is something which really shows us that, you know, the world is global. And speaking about the Korea, I also think that this is a good moment because now we understand that you should not be so, you know, physically connected with certain location to practice international arbitration and to practice international law. You can literally practice it from whatever place you like. And this is also something which, this is the benefit which should not be lost as an opportunity for your career building. So you can really use this moment to get involved with the community, with the associations, and to understand yourself and to see that you are like a valuable member of this community. And in that sense, I think this is a good moment to start, because traditionally we had a feeling that you have to be somewhere in London, in Vienna, or in Hong Kong, in the huge hubs of the arbitration to practice physically there. But we see that, you know, yeah, the reality changes the rule of game, and you can practice from different places. And in that sense, it is important to have an association and ability to join this because it provides you with like practical projects that you can use. And I also think this is great that you've mentioned that you also support the journal, because this is about diversity, not only in times of the place where you can practice, but also in times of types of your professional paths. And you can join the academia, for instance, and journal is a great start to develop your career in arbitration as a researcher or as a future academic. as a future member of the academia field, because without good law, we cannot have good arbitration, apparently. And I think the journal and the opportunities to have articles in this journal is also something which really can help students and young practitioners to build up, first to get acquainted with some people who will read and who will discuss, who will argue, and then to show that you also can be the valuable member of the community. So this is indeed great. I don't think, do we have any questions, any additional questions from our participants maybe about association and some opportunities and projects to practice there? Yeah, just welcome. I think that we are limited in time, unfortunately, because this is definitely the topic which can be, discussed for a very, very long time. And I personally always very enthusiastic about opportunity to speak about this. But if we have some questions, then you're always welcome. And maybe you also could share some contact details. So for those who will be willing to join the association or maybe to ask questions directly about being involved, yeah, how they can stay in touch and be in touch with the association.
Certainly, they can email us or visit our website. We're on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. And also with regard to the Vindobona journal, the whole point is when you're pleading in the Moot itself, you start thinking of ideas, you start questioning whether the law or the rules are correct or whether there should be changes or why is it the way it is? And when you have all these questions, automatically you have the chance to convert it into an article, have it published, put it on your CV. Of course, provided that it's a good article.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is great that Moot really takes the very, very topical issues of law. So there is no need to search additionally for something which is on the top of discussion. You already presented with something which should be discussed and which is already discussed. And this year problem, I think, is a great example of being very, very topical, because it is about intellectual property issues and about like this COVID reality. So you can just take this and use it for your future research, and this is really great opportunity itself for young practitioners and students. It seems that we are running out of time already. Unfortunately, as an Moot, you cannot ask for extension for this time, although it would be great to have this opportunity. But considering that Vienna Moot is about to start, I want to use this opportunity to wish very best luck to all the participants. And I want to say that, don't lose your chance to shine, and don't lose your chance to apply and to benefit from all the opportunities you will be presented by the Moot and by the association, because this is something which can change and can really contribute into your profession. So make sure that you used all the best you could from this, and by all means, very best luck to all the teams and to everybody who will be participating. Yes, and Nadine, thank you very much for the presentation. I hope it will inspire our participants and students to join the association and to become like really members who will be contributing to the future development of this. I hope it will work in this manner. Thank you so much for finding the time to join us and to let us know about the association.
Thank you for having me. Very nice chatting with you.
Thank you. It was great to talk.